You know, I interviewed one of your former co-stars, Chris O'Donnell, not too long
Oh,
ago,
yeah.
and we talked about Circle of Friends, and he said his feeling was when you were making that movie that it was not going to be a big film. It was just going to be a film that probably just a few people were going to see. It was
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, no one ever had ever seen anything I'd ever done before. Really, I was very surprised by that film.
Now, what was your first indication that suddenly Hollywood had this interest in you when that came out?
Uh, when I stopped having to pay for my flights, I couldn't believe that. It was like, you know, the first time I was to come out, they were like, yeah, well, if you want to come out, you know, you can pay for yourself, and you know, whatever. If you want to come, okay, fine. But you know, frankly, we don't think it's going to be that big a deal. So I was like, well, okay, you know, I'll go. So I did, and then literally the next phone call was like, well, hello, there'll be a car picking you up from your house. There'll be a car picking you up at the airport. Is there anything else that we can get you? And I was like, is this the same person? And they were like, well, yes, it is, Minnie. I was like, well, you're an asshole. It was really interesting. The change was sort of like that.
You know, a lot of European actors, when they come to America, especially to Hollywood, they have that one defining LA moment, whether it's their first limo ride or something they see at a nightclub. What was that for you coming to Hollywood?
Oh, my friends took me. My friends said, we've got something to show you, and they put me in their car, and they had a sunroof in their car, and they drove me along. I don't know really where we were. We were on Sunset, and then they pulled over, and they had their hands over my eyes like this, and then they made me stand up through the sunroof, and then they went like that. And there was the Circle of Friends billboard, which I'd never seen anything. I couldn't believe it. And no one, they put my name, you know, up there with Chris O'Donnell's, which was totally marketing. There was never any deal made about that. They just decided, and there it was. And that was awesome. That was incredible. I hope it's always that exciting. It's kind of, yeah, it's amazing to see your face and your name.
You know, it's funny, the films I've seen of yours, I saw Circle of Friends in Australia in a movie theater in Sydney, and there was these guys behind me just talking about how cute you are. And then in this film, you know, I mean, you have such a gorgeous smile, and these guys are just going nuts. How popular were you when you were in high school? I mean, were you like quite popular, or were you a bloomer, a late bloomer?
I was late. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. It didn't happen when I was at school. I was too tall and kind of gangly, and just there was too much hair involved, and height, and kind of intimidating, kind of caustic remarks, which was my defense against being gangly. Well, so it came late.
Well, do you find now that you've become a celebrity that guys that you met, you know, years ago are suddenly calling you and coming out of the woodwork?
Yeah, I kind of enjoy that. Oh, hi, it's you. You're an asshole too. I'm sorry, I know you can't use any of that. But it's kind of, it is fun. I particularly enjoy it when people ring and say, you know, they make like your new best friend. I like to call them on it.
Your character in the movie, when John Cusack comes back, is a bit wary of that situation. In real life, how wary are you about the guys who approach you?
I tend to give them a really hard time.
In
In
what way?
Because, you know, the thing is that I've always been fascinated and always sort of repelled by the idea of having to like small talk with someone. So I suppose I tend to cut to the chase and be far more cruel than I probably should be fairly early on. But it's quite a good litmus test, because if they stick around, then they're obviously keen. But yeah, I think I don't smile and nod very much, or talk about, you know, what a lovely sweater, or isn't the weather nice? I tend to kind of ask them if there's, you know, any kind of hereditary madness in their family or something. If they suffer any kind of bovine disorders.
And one last question. Has anyone come in today and is surprised to find out that you're not an American, that you have an accent?
Oh, there was one woman yesterday He was a bit shocked.
What's your reaction when something like that happens?
I'm very flattered. It's very good. It's very good, and that's good if people think that.
Yeah. Well, I got a question first about your stage career. I'm fascinated when you go to a play these days, how there are people on cellular telephones or they're talking during performances, that type of thing. What kind of unusual interruptions have you encountered while acting on stage?
Oh, I was doing a very serious, amazing play in London that is sort of like the Russian Hamlet. It isn't Hamlet, but it's the Russian equivalent, and they have streets named after this playwright, and it was a great play. And the play is called Chatsky, which is the name of the hero. And there was a busload of ladies from it was like a Jewish ladies' society, and they'd come. There was about 25 of them for the matinee, and I think they thought it was a musical. They thought it was sort of Chatsky with an exclamation mark, and the fact that it was Russian, it would be something like Fiddler on the Roof. And halfway through the performance, they started getting up going, "Where are the songs? Where are the songs?" Screaming at the stage. 25 sort of rather kind of strained-looking actors. Where are the songs? It's like, did we forget? Is there a song here? That was hilarious. I almost fell off the stage laughing. In fact, me and my friend did have to leave the stage. We were laughing so much. We got pushed off.